some of whom are here today. Thank you for being here. Please visit our website, atlantapressclub.org, for upcoming events, webinars, and more. You can find out about our Hall of Fame honorees who will be honored this November. Now today we have a wonderful opportunity to hear from U.S. Senator John Ossoff in conversation with Atlanta Journal-Constitution's political reporter Greg Bluestein and brand new Newsy anchor Rob Nelson. Greg, as you know, has been at the agency in Washington, D.C. He interned for Atlanta's U.S. Congressman John Lewis and later worked as a national security staffer and legislative assistant for foreign affairs and defense policy for U.S. Representative Hank Johnson. He then became Chief Executive Officer of NCOs about being the senior senator. I flubbed that joke, sorry, but check that out on Twitter. All right, please welcome United States Senator John Ossoff.
Good afternoon to everyone here. As someone who's now lived in Atlanta for 4 weeks, it is really great to be here, having lived in Chicago at the time of your election as an outsider, riveted by what's happening politically in Georgia. So this is a real treat to sit down and have a conversation with you. So let's
for star players early in the year, so they get even more credit.
Game 6, will it take 6 games or 7?
I'm not going to get into that much detail in my predictions here. Greg is the true baseball connoisseur up here. So,
what is topping your political docket right now, and basically your overall legislative priorities right now for this state?
Well, Rob, welcome to Atlanta. Welcome to Georgia. Great to have you here, Greg. Good to see you. I want to thank the Atlanta Press Club, the Metro Atlanta Chamber. I know that there's a big team that's put this event together, AIDS Healthcare Foundation. Thanks to the sponsors of the event, 100 Black Men. We have representation here from the Israeli consulate. Is the Israeli consul general here? I'm not. Are you here? But the consulates represent it. So welcome to our Canadian friends as well. Hey, back there. And I believe Mayor Franklin may be with us. Hey, Mayor, please. So thank you all for the opportunity. It's great to be here and great to have this opportunity to have an exchange of views and to give an update on what's happening in the Senate. It is a unique institution and a challenging one in some ways, but I have tried to take a workhorse mentality and get off to a fast start legislatively, building bipartisan relationships. I'm consistently educating my colleagues and folks in DC and around the world on is just the incredible assets that this state has and has built. We're a global logistics hub. We have the 4th largest deep water container port in the United States, the busiest airport in the world. The Port of Savannah has the single largest container terminal in the country to pass bills that help our state. And although there's so much sound and fury in the partisan political space and the national political debate, there is still a real potential to get things done. We have enacted this Senate, the most significant infrastructure legislation in generations, with 68 votes.
But you mentioned you being a workhorse and your early start. This past week, you passed your first standalone U.S. Senate measure, the Prison Camera Reform Act. Can you walk us through what that process was like, getting it to fruition, the work you're going to do both within your party and beyond to get that measure passed? Because give us a sort of inside look.
Sure. So, yeah, this week, in fact, I happened to be presiding over the Senate. 2 nights ago, the Senate passed the Prison Camera Reform Act, which is legislation that I developed with Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa, who is the ranking member on the Senate Judiciary Committee, upon which I also sit. And he and I have been building a relationship. I went in and sat down with him early one morning for about an hour and a half in my first few weeks. Dynamics that's very unhealthy in Congress is everyone retreating to their partisan corners, buying in exclusively to partisan narratives that are amplified by partisan media, presuming bad faith on the part of colleagues, and never putting in the the work necessary to build trust to actually get things done. But Senator Grassley and I have built a strong working relationship. We've introduced together this Prison Camera Reform Act. I'll get into the details on that in a moment. He and I have teamed up on major legislation to fight the opioid death epidemic and opioid addiction epidemic that I think has a real chance of passing soon. This Prison Camera Reform Act, American prisons where violence and criminal activity and civil rights abuses are rampant. I'm the chair of the Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations in the Senate, which has broad investigative authority. And right now we have multiple ongoing investigations of conditions in detention facilities and incarceration facilities in the country. This bill that passed this week is focused on reforming the camera systems in Bureau of Prisons facilities. The Jeffrey Epstein case is an infamous and high-profile one, but there are countless cases of violence and abuse, of criminal activity in these facilities where the BOP is meant to have a functioning CCTV system, but the cameras are broken, or the footage winds up lost, or at least it's stated that the footage is lost. This bipartisan bill requires the BOP to fix that broken system to reduce violence and crime and civil rights abuses in American prisons. And folks should be looking for me to introduce more bipartisan prison reform legislation, and I'll likely be launching a prison reform caucus